Good evening once again, welcome back. So what am I getting up to today? I have today ordered some cable to wire up the lights out in the garage side here, especially since I've decided to use the bench out here to take apart and work on the Pompom, and this is going to be my sort of rebuild area, repair and rebuild area. And when I do eventually put a bench in the workshop, that will be the new build bench. Gives me the chance to take things apart and not to not have to disturb what's being built in order to rebuild or repair something else. It should help keep things going a bit easier. So I've ordered some cable for this and some connectors, very similar to the ones I've used before. I'll show you them when they come, hopefully next time. I should be here Thursday-ish, which is my wife's birthday, so I won't be out here Thursday. We've got friends around Friday, so hopefully the weekend I'll get these lights wired up. For now, I thought I'd take a look at this crank axle which I've made. I got this far before moving house. I think there's some videos about it previously. However, I'm at the stage that the wheels need to go on. Now, as you can probably guess, if I were to press wheels onto the ends of this axle, it's going to squash here. So my first thing I'm going to do is make some reasonably good fitting blocks to go in between these. That way, when I push it all together, it stays as it is. So that's the next thing. So off to find a bit of material and we'll get cracking. So sitting on my lathe, I still had a piece of hexagon brass, 17mm I think, which I had here from the last episode where I made boiler plugs. It looks like it'll be big enough to make the two required plugs for this, spacers, and we will give that a go. So I just need to machine two pieces to size to go in there. While I'm on the lathe, may not be of interest, this light, it kept bouncing every time I was working on the machine or dug up the machine. So I've moved it from it was clamped to the splashback, and I've gone onto the window ledge that's behind it. So yeah, that's the next stage. I'm going to stick this in the chuck, part off two pieces, or clean the face, part it off slightly long, spin it round, clean up the other side, and get it to size ×2.
Knowing that I will speed this video up, I am trying to talk slowly so that it will sound right when it is sped up. The face has been cleaned up and I am changing tools. The final piece is to try to be easier to fit in the gap.
So now that these are machined to just over size, I can put them the other way around in the lathe and just face them until they're exactly the right size to fit in the gaps in the crank web. At the moment they should be just a touch too big, which is ideal. So yeah, get this done. Okay, so I forgot to press record when I was making the first one. It is just the right size, so now I'm going to do the other end. I've measured it, and it measured at 0.329. So it's not easy to measure that piece. So what I'm doing, putting a bit of bar on the back until it's flat against the back. And I'm at 0.348, so I've got 18th hour to take off. And what I'm going to do, you can't see from there, I'll back out a little bit and come down. The cross slide, the lead screw is engaged, and I'm using the fine sizes on there, measurement, to take it in. So I have touched on the material now that I've measured it. Sorry about the wobbling about. I can now add, I'm going to add 10 at a time. There's 10. Take another cut. There we go. It's a good fit that doesn't fall out, but it slides about. So I can now push the wheels on. So I am fully aware that what I'm about to show you is probably not the best way to quarter a set of wheels. However, I am only doing one axle out of 3. And what is more important in this situation is that all 3 axles are the same. Presumably they got made the same in the first place, but there is no guarantee that they were exactly 90 degrees. So let me just have a quick mention about what is quartering. So with a 2-cylinder engine, any 2-cylinder engine, the pistons work 90 degrees separate from one side of the engine to the other. That's to ensure a consistent movement. Also, much like on a, well, not quite like on a bike, because a bike they're 180 degrees out, but when one side of the engine is on centres and you put the rods on, the wheels could go that way or that way. So if both sides were set the same angle, the wheels could go in all sorts of directions. I'll show you that when the wheels do eventually go on. However, if you set one side 90 degrees to the other, then if you can see, that side's near the top while that side's near back. When one set of rods are in a straight line high up, they must all move together. This side is in the situation where they could go in either direction, but they have to be pulled in the same direction because of the other side. In an ideal world, for nice even beats, they would be set at 90 degrees to each other. but I don't know if these are 90 degrees to each other, but I assume that these two axles are the same as each other. So I need to make the third axle the same as them. So what I'm going to do is make a jig from one of these axles in order to position that axle. Let me show you how I will do that in the lathe. So here we have a Merchant Navy chassis. The wheels do go round, they just haven't for a while. There we go. Now, it's a Merchant Navy, so it's a 3-cylinder. So when this is just off centres, that is 130 degrees-ish different, or 125, depends on the incline of the cylinder. But if I take one set of rods off, you'll see what happens if you don't have one side at a different angle to the other. So I'm taking the other side off, you can see them on the bench there. This side's still here, but see that? At which point, that can happen. So that is why we quarter wheels. Now this particular process, for a number of reasons, I will do at Dad's house. The main one being that he's got a press and I haven't. So, at the moment, this axle is on the machine. And what I intend to do is, one way or another, block. So I will push the equivalent of this wheel onto the crank axle completely. And then what I'll do is I'll set it up in the lathe like this. And now Dad's lathe is a bit higher than this, there's a bit more clearance to the saddle. I haven't decided yet, but I might move that over, put the tool post or a tool up against that crank pin, and then make a stack of packing from the bed to this wheel. So then with that wheel pressed onto the axle, I can just start this wheel on, push that against the tool, turn that wheel until it hits the bit of packing, at which point the new axle will be set at the same angle as this one. I hope that makes sense. I will show some pictures when I do set it up, but that's not right now. So that is as far as this gets at this moment in time. I may save these videos to be published later, but that's the plan. I probably will post these now. If anyone can offer any better way of doing it before I get around to doing it, that's fine. I am always open to new ideas, new ways, new procedures. This was the way that I saw that that matched the equipment I had and the situation I was in best. Like I say, if I was making this from scratch, I would do it differently because I'd be doing all 3 axles. So I would set them all to a jig or set them all in a way. However, for this engine, because the other 2 axles aren't changing, I just need to make one axle match the other 2. That's why I'm doing it this way. But if you can think of another way that matches it better, please do tell me. Hopefully I'll be able to do this at Dad's house this weekend. We'll see. But for now, thanks for watching. I am going to do a little bit of tidying up. I've still got the electrical stuff out from the diesel. That can be put somewhere else. I can clear this bench and I can start showing you something else. I might start showing you a little bit of maintenance on these things. Nice little set of wagons that I picked up. Yeah, I haven't checked if they're all okay yet. I don't know if they'll work. Don't know what state they're in. The buffers may not spring. Yeah, just feeling the top one, the buffers barely move. And yeah, at some point they all need going through, greasing up, oiling up, checking everything's okay. But for now, that's what they are. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I hope I haven't rambled too much. As always, if I haven't gone into anything enough, if I've gone into stuff too much, let me know. I don't want to bore you. I'm trying to be as broad with my appeal as possible. The intention is not to go into so much detail that I put off the people that really know what they're doing. I don't want to go into not enough detail so that those that don't really understand what I'm doing don't get a grasp of it. But yeah, please do let me know how I'm doing. It's been great knowing that people have been watching and that everyone's supportive, and I will be back soon. So take care and see you next time.